Well, hey, everybody, I'm Louis Amistoy, host of the Baco Motorsports Power Hour, brought to you by the Bakersfield Californian, and we are into show number 10 today, and glad to have you here with us here on Bakersfield.com. And next hour of racing conversation, we'll have the race doctor, Mike Mosier, will be with us today. Very excited to have him. He's actually sitting with me right now. Mike Griffith, under the weather right now. He may show up. I don't know. He threatened me he might show up. But he had an epic day of yard work, was feeling a little under weather yesterday. He has a palatial estate in South Bakersfield. I think he has like 8,000 square feet of grass, Mike. So we'll see him hopefully a little bit later on. But it's too bad because we're gonna unveil a couple things here today. By the way, this is brought to you by the Bakersfield California. We've been covering racing since the beginning. This is show number 10. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can get complete segments of the show on YouTube and on Facebook. And later today, we will unveil the first ever Grumpy Griff Award. And here it is. Show it, Chris. There it is. That is the Grumpy Griff Award. Will be presented to the winners of our fan voting contest later today. And let me tell you right now, we have had, as of right now, it's been a little crazy again, as usual. We have had almost 40,000 votes this week. Now, people get to vote, multiple times, so there's always an asterisk by this. But let's see. We've had 30,600 responses, but the McClenny brothers are in the lead. And actually, right now, as we speak, Cale McClenny has a 1-vote lead over his brother, Cabe. Oh, here comes Grumpy Griff. Look at this.
Wow.
Right on that one. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the one, the only, Mike Griffith, not feeling well, and here he is.
He's feeling fine, but he's grumpy today.
He's grumpy today.
No caffeine, no caffeine, no breakfast.
No breakfast. Wow. Oh, my gosh. So Mike joining us here. But we have Mike Mosier in the house, Mike Griffith. We have Mike
the doctor. You don't need me.
We have the doctor. We have the racing doctor.
You may need the doctor.
we have talent today.
We're gonna talk about the Grumpy Group. But we have this crazy voting going on. The McClenny brothers both have 19,000 votes. Actually, it looks like Cale now has a little bit of a lead over his brother Cabe. Cabe won the Bandolero races at Kern County Raceway Park, and Cale won the Junior Mini Dwarf race. Kiersey Young, who has won already this season, has 9,300 votes so far today. So 30,000 responses, Mike Griffith. Lots of voting. Lots of repeat voting.
Well, you have nothing in your life to do except press the button, vote again.
Hey,
that's just me being grumpy because I don't have time for voting 14 million times.
All right, let's get there it is. Mike Griffith bringing an added warmth and charm to our show today. Okay, let's get on to this thing. Kevin Harvick did not win. Richmond runaway, though. Kurt Busch, I think he led like 250 laps of
290.
Yeah, some crazy number of laps, and got his first big win of the season. And it's been through a lot this year. And but it was a big day for Stewart-Haas Racing, and Harvick finishing second. Mike, you catch any of this race, or what?
Absolutely.
Tell me your thoughts on this.
Well, it was a great race. First off, we know that these guys are teammates, and they share their car setups. You would think also Tony Stewart and Danica Patrick would share some of that, but that wasn't happening. These two guys, a dominant force in that race in Richmond, Virginia. It was crazy good.
Yeah.
Maybe another 5 more laps. It appeared that maybe Harvick was closing ground on the 41 car. Who knows? But, yeah, Kurt Busch definitely on his A game there.
Let's just we have a quick, real quick soundbite with Kevin Harvick talking about that same fact that Mike's talking about here. Let's go to that soundbite real quick, Chris.
Just really happy for everybody from Stewart-Haas Racing and especially Kurt and Tony Gibson and all those guys on the 41 car, and in turn a little bit frustrated, just for the fact that I felt like we had a car that was capable of winning the race and just got so far behind.
So he said, we felt we had a car capable of winning, but we just got so far behind, and that was pretty much the story. He was about a second behind the whole way through.
Well, no, he actually, I guess he's had a set of tires that didn't work too well in the car, and he dropped way back in the field to like 13th, 14th, 15th, and then had to work his way back up. And by the time he got back up there, he's out of time.
It's still amazing though. He's in the he's 9 starts, 8 finishes in the top 10, 7 in the top 5. I mean, continuing to have just an unbelievable season as far as being there. Second place at Richmond. He's clearly number one in the Sprint Cup standings. He's already in the chase for the end of the season. Casey Mears did not have a great run at Richmond. Finished 30th, 23rd in the Sprint Cup standings. Had some early problems. He kind of ran into, well, it wasn't really his fault, but it ran into Danica Patrick early. Got some damage on the car and never really kind of recovered from the rest of the day.
No, you go a few laps down there and you're riding around the rest of the day there at Richmond.
Absolutely. All right, let's keep going on here because we got a lot to talk about. This is the schedule. Talladega this weekend. Mike Griffith, tell me about Talladega.
Roll the dice.
Mike Mosier, tell me about Talladega.
Well, I'll tell you what, the fastest track in the circuit for the Sprint Cup Series, and it's this big-time speed and guys trying to survive the potentials out there. I mean, when you have a crash at 210 miles per hour, usually there's not a whole lot left.
It's pretty scary.
A little bit different than, say, Bristol or Martinsville, where you're hammered down, constantly rubbing on a car. These guys here get strung out, and it can be a boring race or it can be really exciting, just depending on how the cars manage each other.
Right. And then you see the rest of the schedule. They go to Kansas next weekend for a race there, and then they're in Charlotte for 2 weeks, which is kind of a nice home. Mike's over there yawning. No.
Well,
Kansas.
I think
Kansas.
Yeah.
Kansas. Yeah.
I know
Okay.
exactly where he's coming from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kansas. Okay. And then to Dover on the 31st was always interesting. Who knows what kind of concrete will come out or what part of the track will fall apart. So that'll be a big one, too. Let's keep going through our slides here. Ryan Reed finished 21st at Richmond in the Xfinity Series. He's slipped a little bit there since the fast start. He's still usually in the top 20. This one in the 21st. Harvick had his own problems there in that race. He finished 18th in that particular event. What's going on with Ryan Reed, Mike Griffith?
I did not see the race, and so I don't know what happened at Richmond at all. So
Yeah.
no idea.
Okay, well, there we go. See, that's the insightful
There you go. I was
analysis we always look forward to.
other things in the office on Friday night, and I could not watch the race.
Oh, that's right. You were monitoring the Broken Leg Bowl that was the U.S. Army
Yes.
All-Star game.
Yeah.
Good grief. Let's keep going. And this one you will have some interest in, though, Mr. Griffith. Number 2 for Ron Capps, another Wally for him. He beat Fast Jack Beckman, two guys that we've talked to numerous times over the years who love coming to Bakersfield and kind of consider Bakersfield their home and second home in some ways.
Yeah, this was actually live television for the semis and for NHRA. I did not see it live, so I was able to fast forward and just watch what I want when I watched it. But yes, I did see this, so it was a pretty good deal. Kind of interesting when they do the live TV because they do a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff of showing how they rebuild the engines and whatnot. And they're on a very, very strict time deadline between rounds of, I think, 55 minutes. So
Wow.
it is a scramble.
And that includes dropping the pistons out of the car. And
That
putting
means
new
you're
ones
totally
in. That's
rebuilding,
crazy.
and somebody had to change an engine. Or some teams change engines, others just totally rebuild them. But they're on a 55-minute deal from the end of the race to getting back up there.
But Ron Capps and Jack Beckman, though, you got to like that matchup.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty good, and obviously a 44th career win for Ron. And as we said, these guys who have a affinity for nostalgia racing and a love for the sport are doing well this year. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, Mike, I know you're more of the oval track guy, but these two guys, Ron Capps and Jack Beckman, they just come out to Famosa during the March meet just to hang out and watch, and that's how devoted they are to their sport, which I think it kind of sets racing apart. I mean, I think it's interesting to see these guys show up. You don't see that too often, where pro athletes just go to another event just to because they enjoy the sport so much. So. I mean, I think racing, you see that quite a bit. You see these guys. I mean, we talked to J.J. Yelly a few weeks ago. He was looking to get back onto a dirt track as soon as he could. Loves the dirt track racing and everything else. Mike, you've had a long career of following motorsports here in Kern County. Tell me a little bit about your favorite memories of racing here in the area.
Well, there are so many. I like the new division that's been introduced here to Bakersfield. That is the IMSA stocks. Kind of reminds me of the Grand Nationals of yesteryear. It has the rule package that the car has to look stock as it was off the showroom floor, if you will. And I love the motor package, the combination with big block, small carburetor, or small block, big carburetor. It really adds to the wrinkle of competition. Back in the old days, you know, we used to race with, and you would support Dodge, Chevy, Ford kind of a deal. And this gives kind of a look at it where you've got a big block guy running against a small block guy, and they're pretty comparative in their. But you talk about the excitement out there. I don't know. I think it's every week. This year in particular, and I've dwelled on this probably the last 4 weeks, for some reason the racing this year has been unbelievably competitive, very tight, close, crossovers, slide jobs, nose to tail, 3 wide pretty much consistently except for Saturday night. The track got a little different, but this year has been very special as far as excitement and very close competition. It's really been outstanding.
Because I think one of the themes we've had here early on, you know, we've talked about the fact that, you know, there's been very few repeat winners, you know, and a big car count in mini stocks at the Speedway has been really helpful, because even though Tina Bell has dominated early on, I mean, now you got a new winner there. You got new winners in modified and sport mods. It's been kind of a lot of fun, huh?
Oh, absolutely. And Tina Bell, you know, defending track champion, winning the first 3 out of the chute, gets tracked down by Jacob Shepard, and she's able to fend him off. Then Jake's dad comes out, Doug Shepard, Saturday night, and Tina Bell's trying to reel him in, and of course Doug Shepard wins that. But you talk about some of my finer moments, my memories, as I've been able to interview Tony Stewart when he was running National USAC Midgets. Made a comment in a video that we did, a post-race interview, or actually it was pre-race in the pits, that, yeah, he said next year I'm going to be running about 8 of the Busch Series racing. I don't remember what it's called back in that day. It was before Busch, I believe. Billy Boat I have interviewed. Ken Schrader, of course, been at the Speedway. J.J. Yaley, Casey Kane, Kevin Harvick. Some of the greats that have come out of the open wheel racing with USAC midgets and the sprint cars, the 410 wings, etc. It's when you're able to meet those in the early stages and watch them grow through their profession, it's pretty nice.
Very nice. We're going to talk more with Mike Mosier here after the break. We got Bakersfield Speedway results to get through, and talk a little bit more about his career and what he expects this way coming up this season. And one of the things I admire about this man was that he can do an interview, he can walk up and down those stairs, and fend off all of his grandkids who want to be there with him too, which is unbelievable. So we'll be right back after these messages.